Helping Seniors Television, all about improving quality of life for seniors. If you're a senior, know a senior, or plan to be a senior, then this show is for you. It's all about helping you develop your own aging plan so you can age actively and with dignity. Helping Seniors Television from the Helping Seniors Network of information, education, and resources. It's all about buying and selling real estate as Helping Seniors TV program host Joe Steckler talks with Joe Roth, broker at Veterans Realty of Brevard, about good things to know on both sides of the real estate transaction.
Welcome to this edition of Helping Seniors. Our topic today is moving and selling a home. And my panelist is Joe Roth. Joe is a veteran realtor. The first time Joe and I tried to do a show, I got sick, but it wasn't the fact that you were a realtor that did it, Joe. It was me. But, all joking aside, one of the biggest things that a person does during their lifetime is either sell or buy a home. And it's probably one of the most expensive thing a person acquires or divest themselves of. And probably we give less thought to acquiring or selling a home than buying or selling a car.
For most people, Joe, it's the biggest investment they'll ever make.
It's what?
One of the biggest investments they'll ever make in their lifetime.
Oh yeah, it really is. How did you name this organization, Veterans Realty? The reason I want to say it is because you do something else to help veterans.
We do something else to help veterans as well. I was in Vero Beach and I saw that name Veterans Realty on a sign in Vero Beach, and I saw that and I said, that's what I want my office to be called. And a few years later, I opened up my Veterans Realty of Brevard.
So that's how you named it Veterans Realty.
And it was a good fit. We were close to Patrick Air Force Base. I like working with senior people, and it was a good fit.
And you also give discounts to seniors too.
We give discounts to veterans, seniors, and Neighborhood Hero. That's the police, fire, medical, and police, and school teachers. We never forget the school teachers. We give them a discount as well.
Wow. Have you ever been asked the question, since buying and selling real estate seems to depend on the company and location and the personnel involved, the same thing with buying and selling and acquiring a car. How do you go about picking the right person to help you buy or sell your home?
Well, that's a good question, Joe. I'm sorry that you put it in the same class as buying a car, but you talk to people, you ask questions, and you make sure that the people that you're willing to work with are asking the right questions. They need to ask how you want things to go. They shouldn't just be asking you, well, isn't it a nice day? They should be asking, what is your plan for a home? Or what is it that you want or need in your home? It wouldn't do me any good to sell somebody a home on the second floor when they can't do steps.
Yeah. Well, let's stick with buying a home for a minute, because if you talk about buying and selling interchangeably, I think it can get confusing. But let's stick with about buying a home. Is it a common thing for people to aspire to want to buy something that they really can't afford?
It is. That's why before they even talk to a realtor, they need to be talking to a lender to find out where they stand, to get a pre-approval letter. Or if they're lucky enough to have the funds in the bank, that's great. But they need to find out where they stand, and talking to a lender to get their pre-approval, the lender might be able to make some suggestions to help them clear up their credit a little bit, that they could possibly buy something more expensive than they thought. Some people go in thinking that I can only buy a house at this price range, when in reality, they can buy up here. And consequently, some people think, oh, I could buy way up here. Reality is they can only buy down here.
Yeah.
A pre-approval from a lender will help them to ascertain where they can buy,
Okay.
price range-wise.
But the rental market, it seems like the buying and selling market is sort of reestablishing itself on the Space Coast. But how about the rental market? From what the questions I've had people ask me, it's hard to find a reasonable, good rental.
That's true. Well, there's two aspects of looking at it: rental for investment or rental if you want to rent the place. Our inventory is very tight. Rentals go very quickly. If you find something that meets most of your criteria, you really need to consider making an offer on it.
So the inventory is small.
It's very small. Realize that we don't really have an east here to choose.
But what about somebody that's a young couple starting out, got a couple of small children, and they've got to have a place to live.
Everybody needs a place to live.
Rental
yes.
market is small. What are some of the ways that, and this is apart from the senior side of it, for a reason, youngsters might want to move into area where their grandparents are, and I'm not sure how can they afford, or what vehicles can they use if they don't have home equity, they don't come in with equity or anything like that?
Well, first of all, anybody who's planning on renting, they need to reconsider the issue of smoking. They should not be smoking, because a lot of offices will not rent to anybody that smokes. Same way if they have any pets. A lot of condominiums, the owners might be able to have pets, but the tenants cannot have pets. So they might want to hold off for a while on getting that dog or cat for the child, just because they believe that the child needs an animal, if they're trying to find a place to rent.
So what you're saying is, before you even think about moving, you got to get all those questions answered. And in fact, what you're saying is you have to secure a rental before you move.
Yeah, well, yes, definitely. And that's not always easy. And there's sometimes a waiting list and several applications on one property. So you need to make yourself look as good as possible on that application. They don't have anything else to go by but that application. Your credit needs to be better than the next person. Your rental history needs to be good. They need to be able to call up the last person that you rented from, and they're gonna ask them questions, what kind of tenant they were.
But this makes it extremely hard on military families.
It does.
Military housing is not as plentiful.
No, it is not. There's a waiting list for what Patrick Air Force Base has.
There is?
Well, there's quite a waiting list, yes.
See, and then they had all that housing they got rid of.
Yes.
And now they're trying to do something different. But like the Navy traditionally has never had large base quarters for sailors. They're pretty much on the open market, and there's some housing, but the Army and the Air Force tend to have basing quarters a lot more readily available than the Navy does. But that makes it hard to get because...
Yes, for the single serviceman, yes.
Yes.
But when they have a small family, then it's getting tougher and tougher.
Okay, let's say somebody's thinking about moving. What are some of the things that they really should think about doing to the current house they're living in before you move?
Well, if they're going to consider moving, they need to start to declutter now. If they're serious about wanting to get out, and if they're going to sell their property and they want the highest dollar for it, they need to make it look as appealing as possible. Clean cells. Get rid of any odors. If something needs some touch-up paint, by all means paint it, have it painted. Just remember that you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
You mentioned odors, and smoking is one issue, but a lot of times in older homes especially, mice and rats get trapped in the wall and they decay in the walls. And we had that happen one time, and we bought a home, and we moved in and we discovered this, and we had to deal with it. And the way we dealt with it was we went to a funeral home, and the funeral home gave us some of the fluid they use in the preparation of the body, And that, we put that down in the walls. I ended up cutting holes all over this one bedroom, and we ended up pouring some of that fluid down there and waited a week. The smell went away. Then I had to repair all the walls.
Well, I wouldn't go to that extent, Joe. I'd find the source, eliminate it, clean it up, and I wouldn't recommend chemicals that you're not used to working with.
You wouldn't recommend
No,
chemicals?
I wouldn't chemicals, not like that. No, I wouldn't recommend that.
But years ago, we had to do things
Sure,
like that.
That was, yeah.
What do you people, what is a real, what kind of advice as a realtor do you give people that have specific problems like that have odors that above and beyond smoking, just the age of the home, a home has been occupied by an older couple, you get smells that are very difficult to get out of a house. The only way to do that maybe would be to paint and put new carpet.
Well, paint and new carpet sometimes isn't the answer or the only answer. There are professional companies out there that do have processes that they go through to eliminate odors. I also use a ozone generator to help eliminate odors.
A diesel generator?
No, an ozone generator.
Oh.
Basically, this is a small device that you turn it on for just a few minutes, and it puts ozone into the air, and it encapsulates the molecules of the odor-causing agent, and it encapsulates it to eliminate the smell.
As a realtor, have you ever gotten calls from people not wanting to sell or move or anything else? They have problems in their home and call you about how to solve the problem?
Sometimes, yes. Yes, they just need guidance on what contractors to contact.
Contractors contact you?
No, they want to know what contractor that they should call.
Oh, okay. They want to know. Okay, so I guess if you're in the realty business, you have to keep a good running list of handyman organizations, roofers.
We do that, yes. Yes, we do that. We also try to make sure that they're affiliated with the Board of Realtors, that they attain a higher standard than the average person, the gypsies, if you will. These are the people, we only work with the people that are licensed, insured, and know what they're doing.
Okay. That's
important. You don't want to get the fly-by-night gypsy to come into your home and you don't know who they are.
Yeah. One of the questions we had here, if I'm going to sell my home, who should I be talking to? More than a friend.
More than a friend. Well, you want to, if you're going to sell your home, first of all, make sure that there's nobody in the family that wants it before you go and sell it. Because sometimes there might be a son or a daughter or grandchild that loves your home, and they'd be very disappointed if you went and sold it and they didn't know about it. You need to talk to several realtors to interview them and make sure that they've got your best interest at heart.
My son-in-law, who is a lieutenant general in the Air Force,
Congratulations.
moves all over the country, is every time he comes to my house, he says, remember, Papa Joe, I want to buy this house when you and your wife are ready to sell it. And I keep thinking he's kidding. I'm getting to the point where I don't think he's kidding anymore.
Well, save yourself the commission, Joe.
Well, yeah, the thing about it, though, is that he did say, if I do buy the house, I would want to pay market value of the house. And he didn't expect any favors or anything like that. So it makes you think about, I would imagine that ownership or passing ownership of a house and down to heirs in part of an estate can be a very difficult and situation for a realtor.
Not really. Basically, the title office would take care of that. If it's family to family, we wouldn't have anything to do with it. Other than if you and your son wanted a comparative market analysis on the property, then we could do that for you. But your son, you wouldn't want to pay a commission to somebody when you've got a buyer right there in hand.
What is a commission today?
Commissions are negotiable.
I was wondering about that because, I mean, I can remember when commissions were as high as 8%.
Boy, I wish I was around that.
Pardon?
I wish they were like that now.
Oh, I know. Joe, when I bought a home in Auburn, Alabama, when I was stationed as the professor of naval science at the University of Auburn, my mortgage in those days had a 16.5%
Yes.
tag on it.
Yes.
That was extremely high. And then brokers and I've never really understood the thing between the broker and the realtor and how they set fees. But I remember when they started setting fees that it became pretty argumentative with some realtors trying to undercut other realtors.
Yes.
Is that sort of thing stabilized itself in today's market?
Pretty much so. Joe, you get what you pay for. If you want somebody to just come in and do it for 4 or 5%, you're not going to get the service that you would get if you're going to pay them 6%.
I agree with you because when we tried to sell our home in Auburn, Alabama, we had a former Navy commander that purported to be a realtor, and we took him, and we didn't get many people through the house. It took us a year to sell that house, and it was on a lake, a beautiful home. It should never have taken a year.
Well, agents are not supposed to, but they see what the commission is that's paid on a home. And again, they're not supposed to, but if there's 3 homes that are paying 5% and 2 that are paying 6%, I think that I'd like for you to buy this one at 6%. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because they're not supposed to. But commissions, fees are negotiable. But the ones that are doing the 6% or better are going above and beyond. And if you want a discount, if you say, will you discount your fees? Well, how quickly do you think they're going to discount the service that when somebody says, let's offer a lower price? They're not going to be standing, if they can't stand for their own commission, how are they going to stand up to get you your price?
Okay, I understand. I understand what you're saying. Do you find that, do agents, realtors tend to have open houses? Like years ago we had, on a Sunday you could go all over the area and there'd be open houses. I never see signs for open houses anymore.
We still have open houses, but a lot of people are finding their properties on the internet these days. And there are still some open houses.
They still hold them?
I do.
You do?
Yes, sir.
What is the best avenue for a realtor to advertise somebody's home?
Well, the best one is word of mouth. If you're selling your property, you want to let your friends, neighbors, and relatives know. Of course, there's the internet. There's many ways. Word of mouth is very good, though.
Okay.
But most of our buyers do come from the internet. People all over the world can see your house on the internet.
But you know, with the decline of the daily newspaper, we don't have the access to classified ads that we used to have. And I've never heard a radio station advertise for real estate. I've never heard that. And I see more now on television than we used to. But it would seem that with the decline in the newspaper market for marketing, that it would become more difficult to market homes.
Again, the internet is far away, advertising a lot more than any newspaper or magazine could do. A lot of people are finding their homes on the internet.
Internet?
Internet.
You know, almost every time I interview somebody, somebody makes a referral to the internet bureau. So I think maybe more of us need to maybe pay more attention to the internet. We haven't advertised for. I guess I'll have to talk to our media guy. Maybe we could put some housing on our internet.
Sure.
And I say that in all sincerity because if we build a program that reaches out to people across the United States than people moving here, say from New York or from California or Utah, might like to know the name of a realtor that's local, that has a good range of properties that they're selling. There's nothing wrong with getting the best information you can, and that's our purpose. We want to get the information out on services. You sell real estate, and are you finding more seniors are tending to sell their homes now than maybe they did in the past?
Well, it's not so much just the seniors. Everybody moves, and on average, about every 7 years. And people's situations change.
Right.
And a lot of times people have to move for one reason or another. Somebody dies, somebody's born, somebody moves away, a family member moves away, divorces happen. There's many different reasons that somebody would buy or sell a home. They lose their job, for instance.
All right. Oh, I understand that. But I'm talking about specifically seniors. With seniors living longer, and as we live longer, it's going to be more difficult to stay in that home.
Yes.
So there's going to be more seniors looking for assisted living and nursing homes and other elements of care that would not let them stay in their homes. So I would think that as the population ages even more, that there's going to become a greater market for purchase of senior homes, which in many cases would be smaller homes.
Yes, true. But understand that those people that have, the older people that have those homes, they once had a family possibly, and they're still living in that home. They're not necessarily a smaller home. Sometimes they've moved into a smaller home after all the kids have moved away, yes. But you're correct.
Yeah, but no, I know, and some of them have some pretty good sized houses.
Yes, they
too.
do.
And that's the other part of the problem. When you get older, you don't need that great big house.
And it's a lot of maintenance.
Tell me, I know. I know what it means. But, and that Ken, when you get, we're talking about a show here that sort of helps seniors understand, or people understand how seniors can meet their needs easier, more cost effectively. And it just as a general comment, what can realtors do to, across the board, help seniors in deciding when to move, what type of home to buy, maybe an area to move to? Do you get questions like that?
They generally have an idea where they want to be in a general area,
Okay.
like a city or something. But a lot of times the price dictates where they can move, how much they can afford. Price dictates a lot.
Okay.
That's what sells a home too, is the price. I'm not sure if I'm clear on your question, Jim.
No, I know you're answering it, but it's a question because I'm looking like a couple of questions here. Was if someone asks why I am selling, what should I say?
I'm moving. If you went into detail as to why you're selling, somebody who is interested in your property might glean an upper hand in the negotiation process if they hear that, well, I have to go into an assisted living facility, or I have to go move in with my kids. They know that you're under some pressure there. They might use that against you in the negotiation process. So if somebody asks you why you're selling your home, your only answer should be that you're moving.
Oh, I see. I took the question the opposite way, because what you're saying here is that people think that the guy might have you over the barrel and they can drive the price down lower.
Correct.
And get home. And that's why you should just give them a...
You don't want to give them your motivation for selling. That should be your own. You should keep that close to the chest. All they need to know is that you're moving and the house is for sale. Here's the price. If you want to buy it, great.
It's kind of like the old World War II, lose, slip, sink ships.
Something like that, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
in this case, overly loose or garrulous lips could result in a non-sale of a home.
Well, it'd be saleable, but not at the price you wanted it to be.
Yeah. But another part of the question we didn't even talk about today, and I think I want to talk about, if people sell a home, you represent a product, and if you sell that home, what kind of fallback can come on a homeowner that sells a home if he knows there's a known problem and doesn't fix it?
Well, you've got to remember the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you're going to sell your property, you're likely going to be filling out a property disclosure questionnaire. The realtor can't fill it out for you. You've got to do it. And if you don't know of issues with the house, you can just say you don't know. But if you know that there's a large crack behind this wall or under that carpet, or there's something wrong with the house that's not evident to the eye just looking at it, you've got to disclose that. People get sued. Some people, they rescind the sale and they have to buy the home back. You don't want to. You want to be, once you make that sale, you want to be gone from it. You want it to be over. So don't try to hide or misrepresent anything. Be honest.
Yeah, and we've got a little bit of time left, but there's one thing. What kind of policy, or is there an insurance that a homeowner can take that will prevent future claims against them? What is the name of that?
Future claims?
Well, let's say if somebody thinks they have a claim and well,
I think you're talking about title insurance, Joe.
Title, okay.
Yes, sir.
Title search records and all that. And you need to have that insurance.
And it's also a policy that if anybody if the title company, when they sell the home, they don't see it, there's a policy there that says that if something were to come out of the woodwork later on, that insurance would pay to take care of that.
That's the best insurance policy is talk to a realtor.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. And I want to thank you, viewing audience, for being with us today, and I hope you enjoyed what Joe and I have talked about, because there are a lot of things involved in selling home.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm Joe Steckler. Thank you for joining our program today. I'd like to remind you that our senior information line is available to you at 321-473-7770. There you can get help and direction that could be helpful for your specific situation or circumstances. The work of helping seniors is very important, but we can't do it alone. That is why our sponsors here in Brevard County are so important. I'd like to thank our many area sponsors, businesses and medical providers who support the mission of helping seniors that help us carry the cost of our media efforts. If you'd like to join us either as a business partner or simply donate as an individual, we would welcome your call at 321-473-7770. You are always welcome to visit our website at www.helpingseniors.brevard.org. Thanks so much for your help. It does make a difference.